It's tiring in the sense that you're constantly having to go viral on your own. It's just you. It's my ideas in my house. I had to think of ideas all day long.
Yeah.
What could be viral? What's funny? What's gonna take off?
Hey everybody, welcome to Forbes Top Creators. I'm Steve Bertoni. I'm here with Bobbi Althoff.
Hello.
Thanks for joining us. If you don't know, Bobbi is a superstar content creator, famous podcaster, and probably running one of the most watched and engaged interview shows around. Bobbi, thanks for joining us.
Thank you. Is this a podcast?
This is an everything cast.
Does it go on audio?
We're working on it.
Oh, okay.
So we're gonna do video
Okay.
and then maybe strip the audio and make it a podcast.
That's what I do. This is much more fancy than what I do, though.
Why, what is your setup like?
Well, we just have little labs and not so many people and not so many rules.
I don't look at them. We don't have any rules. There's no rules here. I don't look at them here. Every time I turn around and I see these people behind me, it freaks me out.
It's crazy. I meant rules like I know moving mics. We just kind of do whatever happens, and if the sound is crappy, it's crappy.
Do you use like the little like remote? I have like the HoloLand remote like labs.
I did, but now I have a professional audio person.
That's true, yes.
So that's a little nicer, I guess. But
do you get interviewed a lot? Is this weird? Because you're usually the one asking the questions. Is this weird to be the interviewee?
it is. I've done a few interviews now,
Okay.
but yeah, it's hard to get interviewed. I get why people don't like being interviewed.
Yeah, I'm usually the question asker. So
Yeah.
when I have to get interviewed, it's tough. Because then
Yeah.
you start like judging how you judge other people. Not judging,
Judge
but like,
other people.
Not judge, but it's like you're putting yourself, I'm always asking the questions and it's like, oh, what would I have said if I was asked that question? And then you get thrown on the spot.
It's true.
That's like, I do a lot of profiles, but I've never had anyone write about me, thank goodness. And I don't know how I would feel about that.
It's weird. I've done interviews where I've had a meal with the writer, and I didn't realize just how much of it would end up in the interview.
Like what you ate and how you chew and stuff?
What I ate, what I ordered. I did not realize any of that would end up. I was like, wow.
Would you change your order if you knew that? Would you like try to get something that's like...
I would have maybe not ordered so much. I feel like I ordered a lot, and then I don't know. I was acting like we were at dinner,
Yeah.
lunch. Yeah, I would have thought more carefully about what I did.
Yeah, it's also hard to eat and ask questions. I once had to do a story on a golf course. I'm a really bad golfer, and I was interviewing like a billionaire kind of person, and I was nervous enough, and then I had to like hit the ball. It was a lot going on.
I've done that too. Not a billionaire, but
You done golf?
golf interview. Yeah.
Who'd you interview? Golf?
Andrew Santino.
Nice.
Yeah.
Are you a golfer?
No, I'm not an anything, or I don't have any talents.
You have talents. You're a
That's going to be
podcast-
clipped, and people are going to be like, yeah.
No, you have talents. You have an interview talent, and you said, what is do you have any journalistic background?
No, just a community college journalism class.
What is your interviewing technique?
Just no research, show up, and ask questions. I'm doing the interview tomorrow, but live, and that'll be the first time I've done a live interview.
Okay.
So I did do a tiny bit of research.
But normally you do no clip, no prep.
No.
You don't even like Wikipedia the person.
No, I just go in, and sometimes when I was interviewing Charlie Puth, I called my sister-in-law because she was a fan of his. And
Okay.
I was like, is there anything you want to know about him?
Do you have like the same questions? Do you ask the same questions to different people, or do you ever get stumped? Like, I don't know what to talk to this person about?
Not really, because it's just a conversation. It keeps kind of just going. But I guess there's times where the conversation kind of dies, but I know that it's going to get better, so we kind of just have to save it. But it's pretty easy to think of more stuff to ask.
What do you think is your appeal? Why do you think you became a thing?
I'm not sure. I don't know. Why are you looking at me like that?
Because I'm waiting for the answer. I'm waiting for
I gave you my answer.
That's an interview trick. If you look at someone, they try to fill.
Oh, you're right.
You try to fill the
I
void.
learned that. I did media training.
Yeah.
And they taught me that I don't have to fill the void.
What else did they tell you?
They said to use complete sentences.
Okay.
And Yeah, so I don't do any of the things I learned. That was an expensive 2 hours of my life, and I did a 2-hour media training thing.
Yeah, people once said, like, I once got media training and say, you don't say
I do
try to
that.
say I'm like, is even better than But that was the deal.
I don't think that's better. I think you should say
But the biggest piece of media training is you don't have to answer the question that you're asked.
Yeah, but I don't. I overshare. I answer everything I'm asked. I answer questions I'm not asked, but that people want to know, and I go into way too much detail.
Do you get nervous before an interview?
No. Maybe I should, though, because then I would prepare more, and then I would not end up.
Well, you have like more than 1 million subscribers on YouTube, and your stuff goes viral. So whatever you're doing, don't change it up.
I won't. I'm just not. I don't know. I don't have it in me to do research. I was always bad at school. So I feel like that would make this a little bit of homework.
Okay.
And it's just easy, and it has worked. So I just show up and I talk to the people and make new friends.
Do you know who I know you're young. Do you know who Larry King is?
Yeah, he's not alive, is he?
He's not alive, but he was like a famous talk show host.
I remember.
And apparently he never prepped. He would just go in and just like ask questions. Maybe he knew a little bit, but he wasn't like doing like a 60 Minutes interview. It was like, he was curious, you were curious, and your readers, your viewers are curious, and there you go.
Do you want to know what I thought of when you said him?
What?
Have you seen the Bee movie?
The Bee movie? Is that the one with Jerry Seinfeld?
I don't think so. I just know Larry King is in it. He's like a news bee.
A news bee. I think Jerry Seinfeld is like the Bee movie guy.
Oh,
I've seen clips. I've seen pieces, but I've never
There's a Bee, Larry King.
Do you have glasses on?
Probably. If Larry King wears glasses, I would imagine he did. I don't remember.
Is there anyone who's like your dream interview?
I don't know. Like, I don't know.
If you're like a magic wand, you'd be like, you can interview anyone right now, and they'll show up.
Justin Bieber.
What would you ask him?
I don't know. Why didn't he pick me to be one less lonely girl when I was 12?
Are you a believer?
I went to one concert. But I also went to, I feel like I went to one of his, but I went to one Jonas Brothers concert too. Okay. And I definitely thought that me sitting in my nosebleed seat, they would somehow see me.
They'd see you and just wave and give you a shout out.
And fall in love with me when I was 12 and hideous.
I'm sure you weren't hideous. Okay. I'll take your word for it. We had our Under 30 Summit a few years ago, and Hailey Bieber spoke and did a keynote, and Justin showed up backstage and was like super supportive and like was very, very like, big applause for Hailey.
Yeah.
And then everyone was freaking out because Justin Bieber just showed up backstage.
I know, they're the cutest couple ever.
He had his hoodie on the whole time, like people wouldn't notice it was Justin Bieber.
I love it. I love them together. She's the luckiest person.
You're a fan, you're a believer for sure. Let's get back. How did you start the podcast? How did you become an influencer or creator?
Just wanting to make money.
Do you have a plan?
You're doing that thing.
What thing?
Where you're looking at me, waiting for me to fill the void.
I'm not filling the void. You want to make money. I thought you were going to go deeper on that.
Yeah, exactly. You thought I was going to go deeper.
Yeah.
That was the deepest.
Did you try other things? I know you said you were at Jersey Mike's.
Yeah. Sonic. I rode roller skates.
You were roller skates?
Yeah. They don't do that anymore, I heard.
Probably a liability.
Yeah, that's silly, but I also should have sued them for the amount of times I got hurt.
How'd you get hurt rollerblading?
Falling.
Are they roller skates or blades?
Blades.
Are you good at carrying like the tray?
No, I would drop them all the time, and it was so embarrassing.
Would you get yelled at?
No. I probably should have been.
You have to wear helmets?
No, that would be weird.
Yeah, but it's like lawyers will get into that and that sort of thing.
That's why they don't wear skates.
No. So you wanted to make money.
Yes.
And you tried a lot of stuff. And when you started doing TikTok, what did you envision your brand to be?
Anything. I didn't really have a vision. So before TikTok, I forgot a little thing I did.
Okay.
I would sell face masks on Etsy.
Face masks?
Because when COVID started, people needed face masks.
Yes.
So I had a sewing machine. So I learned how to sew. My mom had just bought it for me for Christmas. And then I learned how to sew. And I bought bed sheets at Target, and I cut them up into little rectangles and sewed face masks using how the giant one has elastic in it?
Yes.
So I used the elastic to make
I like the fitted ones.
Yeah.
So you just got to save money on elastic. You got it right there.
Yeah. I would just tear apart bed sheet packages. I would use the pillowcases, all of them.
Yeah.
And then I would sell them for way too much on Etsy.
That was good.
But they needed them. Like, I would next day ship them. So I think I sold them for $20 each.
Yes.
I had so many good reviews. I sold $3,000 of face masks. I was very pregnant.
How fast could you do a face mask?
So quick. I had a whole conveyor line of myself, but I was just, I would cut all the elastic, then I would put it all together, and yeah.
It was funny. I did a story with Josh Silverman, who's the founder of Etsy, and I did a panel I did an interview with him last week at a Forbes event, and he brings up the pandemic all the time, and he said suddenly, because they have all this data and stuff, and he said suddenly the government said, like, okay, now it's time for face masks, but you couldn't get them. And people started selling face masks. And he said, before, if you looked up face masks on Etsy, it was like a Halloween costume or that sort of stuff. And they started seeing these pop up. And he's like, as Etsy, should we lean into face masks? Like, should we tell all of our makers they should start doing face masks? And some people said no, but he leaned into it. And they sent all these instructions on how to make face masks. And suddenly there was like 55,000 people selling face masks on Etsy. And he said it was like a Dunkirk moment. You ever see Dunkirk?
No.
Dunkirk was like a World War II movie where they had to get the British soldiers out of France, and they didn't have any ships. So all these like local people that had boats rescued the people. And that's what he said, Dunkirk moment.
That's
But
crazy.
anyway.
I can't believe I was a part of that.
You were part of it. You saving lives.
He paid, I don't know if I saved any lives. My masks like sucked, but.
Hey, don't say that. You might get sued now. If someone got COVID with their mask, they can go back.
That's crazy. They could not. They were really good.
I'm sure. You said they sucked.
No, I didn't.
So you started making TikToks. What did you experiment with? What was that going to be like your brand, your content?
I said,
No.
And I'm going to say like a lot.
That's
and
fine.
then regret it after.
I'm from New Jersey. People say like all the time.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah. I started, I just wanted to see what would pick up. So I was a stay-at-home housewife, mom, had one kid. I was a nanny before I sold face masks.
Okay.
So I'd post how to become a nanny. Nobody cared. I'd get 100 views. I posted how to clean my house, videos of me cleaning my house. Okay. No one cared about that either.
Are you a good cleaner?
I can be.
Okay.
For the views.
Yeah.
I'm pretty good. I'm a good housewife. Like, I did a lot of housewife stuff. I was a good housewife. I'm divorced now.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I just posted anything. I would try anything I could think of until videos would pick up.
And what picked up?
The first video, actually, which in the last interview we did, I forgot this one, but it was actually my engagement.
Okay.
That's the first viral video I've ever had.
Was it like a recreation or was it actual engagement?
No, it was my actual very awkward engagement. So I think people think that I'm not awkward in real life, but when he got down on one knee, I was like, there are people around, like, what are you doing? I was so awkward.
Okay.
I pecked him, and it just went viral for being very awkward.
Who was filming it?
His friend.
Oh, okay. It wasn't like you see him going down on a knee and you like pulled out your phone and like, let's make this happen.
No,
I'm
not good at that.
I think all engagements are pretty awkward.
Yeah, I don't like that. Yeah.
So it went viral, and were people like saying, blowing up your comments?
These people they were saying we were Mormon 17-year-olds getting married.
You were in like a prairie dress?
No. What was I wearing? I was wearing a tight green. It was because I looked 12. I was 21.
Okay.
So I was young. So I get it.
But you looked young. I looked young too. When I was young, I'm old now.
Yeah. I was 21. I looked like I was a child. I was a child. Yeah. So that video.
And then what happened?
Well, then I kept posting, as one does when they realize their personality gets followers.
And you started making money on brand deals, you're saying?
Probably a few months in, yeah.
And tell me about the evolution from TikTok to a podcast.
The evolution. I mean, you can only make so many TikToks, and
is it tiring? Is it like redundant?
It's tiring in the sense that you're constantly having to go viral on your own. It's just you. It's my ideas in my house. I had to think of ideas all day long.
Yeah.
What could be viral? What's funny? What's gonna take off. And I would see people really, there's tiers to going viral, you know? There's tiers to internet fame.
Yeah.
So I was at a very low tier,
Okay.
I would say. I had 3 million followers, but it was mom followers that followed me for mom content. And I remember probably around that time, right before I blew up, I remember seeing Alex Earl really blowing up.
Yes. She spoke at Under 30 last year.
Everyone did. You didn't have me, but okay.
Now we have you. You're completing like the circle here.
Another year. That's so sad.
So Alex Earl did not do mom content.
No. Did she tell you she did?
No, I'm saying you said you saw Alex Earl blow up and it sounds like it was different than what you were doing.
Okay. Yes. She was doing beauty stuff, right? Yeah. I was just like, I wish I could, like, she hit that next tier, you know? She became really big on the internet.
Yeah.
Where you're getting, I don't know, first your followers are transferring over to Instagram. Everyone's talking about you. This sweater has so many fuzzies on it. Yeah, so then I wanted to get to that tier, and I couldn't do that by myself. So a podcast helped me collaborate with other people and put content out with.
And what kind
people.
of podcast you want? Like, how did you come up with your theme, your idea? You told me before. I like this.
Yes,
I like this.
So my favorite podcast is How I Built This with Guy Raz.
I love How I Built This with Guy Raz.
him?
I haven't, but I listen to him all the time, and we do a lot of CEO stuff at Forbes. I try to like bring a lot of that into it because it's really, people love those stories, and they come and it's like evergreen because like people come in and talk about like the past and they've succeeded, so they feel good talking about.
Yeah. I love listening. I haven't listened in a while. I heard he went back because for a while they switched to a different host and I stopped listening.
Yeah.
But I heard he's back.
Okay.
I should listen again.
Yeah.
Yeah, I used to listen to, that was the only podcast I would listen to. When I was a nanny, I would listen to it on the way to work. And then as a mom, I would clean the house listening to it. So I was very inspired by it. I wanted to start something one day. But I was like, maybe podcasts make a lot of money. How do I make a lot of money?
Okay.
And I knew everyone has a podcast, literally everyone. So I needed to separate mine from everybody else's. So mine just was going to be a parody.
Of How I Built This.
Of How I Built This, yes.
And what'd you call it?
So You're Rich. And it was to interview rich people and ask them how they got there, but be very blunt. And I did one episode called So You're Rich.
What's like a blunt question you would ask?
How much do you pay for your car payment? I don't know, things that I wouldn't typically ask.
Like a stranger or a friend?
Yeah, or a celebrity even.
Yeah.
That's invasive. I wouldn't answer that myself.
So that listed, I was about to ask you what you pay for a car payment.
Yeah, no.
No, not at all. So it lasted it was a success. It was one episode.
Yeah, a whole one episode. But I almost didn't put it out because I was so sad when my management team at that time said it was horrible.
Yeah, that's a good, you told me before. Tell me that story.
Yeah, so I sent them the pilot. I was so excited about it because I watched it over and over and I was like, this is going to go viral. Like, this is going to be good. And they sent me an email thread that was not meant to be seen by me. They accidentally like CC'd me on an email thread that was internal between the team.
Okay.
And it was a bunch of them going back and forth saying how awful it was and how she thinks she's so funny, but she's not. And she's trying so hard and she should just be herself and not ask questions that are blunt like that and just this whole thing. And I was like, I remember opening it because I thought, oh, they saw my episode. They're going to love it.
You're getting feedback all of a sudden.
And then I opened the email and I cried.
Oh,
I was so sad.
Did you reply back?
No. No, yes, I did. I don't know what I said, but he called me.
Okay.
And he was trying to apologize, and I was just like, not answering. 'Cause don't apologize now. You're so rude. Also, I don't want to hear that.
Yeah.
And at some point, I did talk to him, and he tried to say, we really just think you should be yourself. And I was like, well, F you, I'm not doing this. I'm just not going to have a podcast. But I posted a few clips of that episode, and they went viral, so people convinced me to post the whole thing. And then a lot of clips were made of it that went viral, and a lot of people were like, keep going.
And who was that again? Who was the first?
Miranda Sings. I was just asking anyone I was mutuals with at the time if they would be on my show.
Did you change up your style after that?
Yeah, if you watch my early episodes, I was brutal.
So you become more like yourself.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah, but I started off very I said, I was just very blunt. If you watch the beginning, it's more of between two friends, but now I would say it's more of a conversation.
That's good. And then you told me a great story. How did I feel like the Drake bed interview kind of really rocketed. How did you get to that? Because you told me a great story. I want you to, everyone listening and watching, to hear this.
How I ended up in a bed
with Drake.
I posted, I got Funny Marco on it by offering somebody $300 if they got him to come on. So
it was like a finder's fee, right? You said if you can get a celebrity, I will pay you $300.
Yeah. So I love that girl. I am mutuals with her now, and I check in with her every once in a while because she changed my life. But yeah, so Marco and I did an interview together, and it went very viral. I think at minimum each clip got 10 million views.
Okay.
At most, there was on Twitter 100 million views. It went everywhere, and he was mutuals with Drake, so that led to Drake seeing it. And I remember I was with my friends, and I got a call from Marco, and he said, "Look who followed you." And I was like, "Oh my God, it's crazy." So I DM'd him.
Okay, what'd you say?
"When are you coming on?" Or something like that.
And I love how you do different settings for your podcast. Like, it's not always in a podcast studio. A lot of times it's out on the road. Whose idea was it to do it in the bed?
It was collaborative.
Collaborative? You were bouncing back and forth?
We were just trying to figure out what would be viral. I feel like that's the thing that all of us, with every interview I do, it's just what would be viral, what is going to shock the internet, what is going to be fun, hasn't been done before, and that kind of is what we landed on.
Whose bed was it?
You're asking so many questions. It was just a bed.
It was like a hotel?
No.
Was it a set?
Yeah.
A set. Mm-hmm. So you call up Hollywood, you're like, I'm not from Hollywood, I know you can't just get like a bed set. Mm-hmm. It was like a sitcom set kind of thing?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
And so that went crazy. Tell me after that kind of like broke the internet.
Yeah.
Tell me about how did that change your business? How did that change your brand?
There was no real business, I think, before that. I was making probably $300,000 a year on social media, but there was no real business.
That's a lot of money.
Yeah, you get really jaded in this, I will say.
Okay.
You get really numbers like that once were, I grew up making, obviously, I worked at Jersey Mike's, and somehow I could look at $300,000 and be like, it's not enough.
They don't pay that at Jersey Mike's, right?
They don't.
No.
And I made like $8 an hour. I don't know how that became what I think like now. But yeah, it wasn't enough.
For Drake, you didn't have a business or a brand, and suddenly,
well, I had a business.
Yes.
It was just not making nearly it wasn't.
And it was just you, basically.
Yeah.
Okay.
Me and my ex-husband.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Well, he had his own job, but
it
was our LLC kind of. Yeah. So I think it was Bobbi LLC, but he kind of ran it for me.
Okay.
When the interview went out, everything changed. I moved from Laguna to LA.
Okay.
And I got a business manager, a lawyer.
So you got agents, WME, right?
Yeah, I got signed with WME. I got signed with 3 Arts to manage me. And I have got an assistant, just so many things that I had never needed before. And I was able to, my sister doesn't have to work now.
Okay. She worked for you?
Yeah. Yeah, so many people in my family are able to now because I make enough money to help a lot of people.
If you can go in a time machine back to right before you were going to post that Drake video, what advice would you give your younger self before this all went crazy?
I feel like I handled it all great.
All great? No regrets?
I have 0 regrets. I feel like it all happened exactly how it was supposed to happen.
What are you excited about right now? What's on the Bobbi's like future plan for the next 6 months to a year?
I want to get into acting, work on writing my own show, and just 6 months to a year is pretty soon.
Yes.
It's not much time.
We'll go deeper, 5 years.
Oh, 5 years.
Yes.
Well, I'll be over 30 by then,
That's
so
it.
I have
You'll be old
I have
news.
big goals.
Old news. You're done.
Don't even do that.
No, you'll be fine. You'll be an
I will
alumni.
be-
Alumni is a big deal.
That is.
Yeah.
It means I don't feel like people thought I would sustain anything this long.
Yeah. What
but-
do people that knew you before this think of you?
Oh, they think that it's great because now I can afford to take everybody with me.
But like growing up, were they saying, "Oh, Bobbi's probably"? I can see her in showbiz. I can see her. Okay.
Yeah. I've always been a little just center of attention child. My daughter, I look at her and it's like I'm raising myself.
Okay.
My oldest, and she loves to perform, and I've always loved to be. I loved when my sister would record me. I loved all of that.
So what kind of show would this be?
Just a show kind of about my life, but scripted.
Okay.
Because my life is pretty unusual. I mean, I'm a mom, so half of my life is me being a mom. Another half of my life is me doing really, really cool things. And yeah.
Yeah, that's real. Like a lot of, a lot of our at the under 30 summit, most under 30s that we interview don't have families.
Yeah.
And you do, which is
I
great.
know.
Like I usually don't ask people about their children because that's their personal thing, and especially it's a lot of times when they ask women about their children but not their men, I think that's kind of like sexist and rude.
Yeah.
But you mentioned it a lot with like it's part of your life and it's juggling stuff. Like what do you think about how do you balance like being a creator, and you said you're on the road sometimes once a week, to also your kind of your family duties and your kids?
Yeah, I think being a mom, I'm not going to try to get canceled, but I think, okay, being a mom, though, is just different than, at least in my experience in my household, than being a dad, because no matter, the kids want their mom, and their mom is you breastfeed them. If you breastfeed them, it's a very close relationship you have.
That connection.
Yeah, so, I mean, being a mom in this industry meant that when I interviewed all of these people that we were talking about, Drake and Yachty and all of these people, I'm bringing a breast pump with me.
Yeah.
And I was traveling back with breast milk with me. And it's not, I mean, even on this trip, it's like constantly checking in with my sister who's with my kids right now. And most people my age that I meet are very carefree. And I don't have that, but I do think that that's what keeps me more responsible and more grounded. And with my eye on, the prize, I know what I need for my kids, and I can't think of myself the way that other people can think of themselves, because I'm a family of 3 at home, me and my kids. So.
Well said. Bobbi
Yeah.
Althoff, thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks.